11111122222 3555555 666 and 10101010.
Now, New York's #1 news. Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Joe. Yep. Sorry I'm so late today.
Oh, good for you. I got here early.
It's like that, plus the weather.
Standing in solidarity with Israel here in the Midwood section of Brooklyn. Across the river in New Jersey, those backing Palestine demanding a ceasefire as the region enters the 4th week of the war.
They were in the bomb shelters today.
For the first time, we are going to use the levers of government to end hate crimes against Sikh.
Friends and family gathering to remember those killed in last Wednesday's horrific mass shooting at a bowling alley and bar in Lewiston, Maine.
We think of those who lost their lives. We do not want to forget those that are in the hospital.
WABC-TV for the third consecutive year.
Oh, wow.
Now, New York's #1 news. Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
The weather didn't stop fans in the West Village from paying their respects to actor Matthew Perry. His signature character, Chandler Bing, on Friends, made millions laugh. Tributes continue to pour in after his untimely death. Plus, another day of protests about the war between Israel and Hamas. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the war has entered, quote, a second stage. And 2 little kids dropped off a goodie bag at the wrong home on Long Island and got quite the Halloween scare. Police say the homeowner put a gun to a 6-year-old's head. More tributes tonight for Friends star Matthew Perry. There is a growing memorial outside the Friends apartment building in the West Village. The rain did not stop fans from stopping by to pay their respects. Police found the actor in a tub at his home in Los Angeles yesterday afternoon. The coroner's office will determine the cause of death, but police do not suspect foul play. Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon is in the West Village tonight. Sonia.
Joe, this building has always been a destination for fans from all over the world who loved Friends. But tonight it's also a memorial for the late Matthew Perry. The show itself wasn't filmed here, but the familiar scene-setting exteriors were shot here that made you imagine Chandler and the other friends were right here in an apartment in the building.
Actually, I feel kind of lucky to be here, so I can come here and just be closer to him.
The corner of Bedford and Grove Streets is filled with tributes as fans remember how much Chandler Bing made them laugh.
Could I be more sorry?
And how candid Matthew Perry himself was about his personal struggles.
What he's been through in his life. I'm someone who gave up drinking, and luckily many years ago, and that he had such struggles obviously and with his life, and I don't know any of the details of the passing, but I'm 2 years older than 54, so you hear that and you're like, wow, life cut short. It's sad.
Still not much is known about how he died. Investigators say he drowned in a jacuzzi at his home, but it's not clear what led to that. An investigation is underway, but no drugs were found at the scene and no foul play is suspected. Perry spoke with ABC's Diane Sawyer last year about his memoir, the highlights of his career and the low points of his health and addiction battles.
It was important to me to do something that would help people.
You sure know how to make people fasten their seatbelts.
Oh, good. Thanks. I'm glad you read it.
So far, no public comments yet from his core Friends co-stars, but the show's creators said we are shocked and deeply, deeply saddened by our beloved friend Matthew's passing. It still seems impossible. All we can say is that we feel blessed to have had him as part of our lives. And actress Maggie Wheeler, who played Janice, posted, "What a loss. The world will miss you, Matthew Perry. The joy you brought to so many in your too short lifetime will live on. I feel so very blessed by every creative moment we shared." Today, fans are reliving some of that joy, both here and at the Friends Experience exhibit in the Flatiron District.
He's really special. He was a wonderful actor, and we just really loved Friends, so we're happy that we got to come in to see it.
And the latest word from LA is that the Emmys' initial examination of Matthew Perry's body is complete, with toxicology test results still pending, and those always take a while. So the investigation into the cause of Perry's death is still ongoing. Live in the West Village, Sonia Rincon, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, Sonia, thank you. This time yesterday, we showed you people swimming at the beach and running through Central Park in tank tops and shorts. Well, this afternoon, people ran for cover in the rain, wearing jackets and gloves and rain boots. Jeff, what a difference 24 hours makes.
Incredible, incredible. And we can put a number on it, as a matter of fact, Joe. 23 degrees colder right now than it was this time yesterday in Central Park. At times, it's been 30 degrees colder this afternoon than it was yesterday afternoon. That puts our numbers right now only in the lower to middle 50s in Central Park. You're talking about middle 40s up toward Newburgh right now, 48 at Poughkeepsie. It's been a little bit milder down the Jersey Shore where you've had less in the way of rainfall. 57 right now at Belmar, your pair of fives on the east end of the island, at Montauk. And speaking of that rain, we've had rounds of rain kind of moving from west-southwest to east-northeast across the area. At times, not coming down that hard. At other times, some localized downpours out there. Right now, the steadiest rainfall, western Long Island, up into southwestern parts of Connecticut, and then extending back up into the mid-Hudson Valley. Again, south of the city down the Jersey Shore, not a whole lot going on, just kind of a stiff breeze coming in off of the water, but you haven't had measurable rainfall, say, from Belmar and points south. Meanwhile, we're pushing a half an inch in some areas from the city and points north and west up into the mid-Hudson Valley. So the bottom line is occasional rain and drizzle lingering into the day tomorrow. It won't be raining the whole time, but do bring the umbrella as you're heading back to work. We're brighter but chilly on Halloween. It'll be dry for the trick-or-treaters on Tuesday evening. However, very late Tuesday night, we're talking well after midnight Tuesday night into Wednesday, there could be another round of a little bit of rain depending on how close a coastal system comes to our shorelines. The bigger story will be how cold it's going to be behind that system, and it could be so cold that we get our first freeze of the season north and west of the city as we head toward Wednesday night. 52 for a low tonight in the city, more like 40s like you have right now north and west. So temperatures fairly steady overnight. Again, that occasional rain and drizzle out there. A few showers during the day tomorrow. Big range in temperatures, 50s to the north, even getting up to the 70-degree mark down the Jersey Shore toward Toms River. And with that onshore flow and the fact that we've just come off a full moon, there could be a little bit of inundation at the time of high tide, so there's some coastal flood advisories tomorrow. So that rain chance goes up a little bit as we head into the middle part of the week. But again, the big story, the November chill. We'll talk about that in your AccuWeather 7-day forecast coming up. Joe?
All right, Jeff, thank you. New at 6 o'clock, a man accused of pointing a gun at a 6-year-old's head after a Halloween-related mix-up. It happened in Manhasset after the boy's 10-year-old sister dropped a goodie bag in front of the wrong home. The 6-year-old boy then went to retrieve the bag. Police say Michael Yafan Wen emerged from the house and pointed a handgun at the boy's head. Investigators charge Wen with menacing and endangering the welfare of a child. Some breaking news to tell you about. Hundreds of people stormed the Maine airport in the Dagestan region of Russia. In video circulating on social media, you can hear people yelling anti-Semitic hate speech. The mob was apparently fueled by rumors of Israeli refugees arriving at the airport from Tel Aviv. Right now, the airport is closed. No reports of any injuries at the moment. The office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sent a statement to urge Russia to protect Israeli citizens. And after 3 weeks of aerial attacks, Israel's ground operations are now well underway. Israel calls this the second phase in its war against Hamas. Tanks rolled across the border into Gaza Friday night. And this morning, the IDF said it's expanding its ground operations, pushing deeper into Gaza. Meanwhile, in our area, demonstrations of support for Israel and Palestine. Rallies took place in Newark and in Brooklyn this afternoon. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson.
Standing in solidarity with Israel here in the Midwood section of Brooklyn. Across the river in New Jersey, those backing Palestine demanding a ceasefire as the region enters the 4th week of the war.
They were in the bomb shelters today.
Joyce's son, his wife, and baby girl. The couple lives just outside of Tel Aviv. Many here at this gathering have family in Israel, some in the military.
They're doing 24-hour shifts into Gaza, returning, sending the next troops.
Her nephew is among IDF troops who have advanced roughly 2 miles on the ground into northern Gaza. Many here fully support Israel's continued military operation.
I don't think the ceasefire is the correct answer. I think they need to wipe out Hamas. And if Israel doesn't do it, no one else will.
The complete opposite opinion here in Newark, where several groups from around the state are demanding an end to the bombing in Gaza.
People are dying every minute, and no one is helped, and people have no food, no water, no electricity, nothing, and the whole world is watching.
Tomorrow at the UN, an emergency session during which leaders will discuss this new phase of the war, as questions remain about Israel's scope and intent.
We are all Palestinians.
The one constant deep concern over the more than 200 hostages.
I don't know them personally, but we feel it. We feel it right here. That's what he's singing right now. It's in our hearts.
Kimberly Richardson, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Leaders of the Sikh community turned to Mayor Eric Adams today to help safeguard them from hate crimes. They presented him with a symbolic sword that reads, "New York City Mayor Adams is our protector." The Sikh tradition calls for people to carry swords so they can fight for the defenseless. 2 weeks ago, someone beat up a Sikh man in Queens. The victim told police his attacker said, "We don't wear this in America," referring to his turban.
For the first time, we are going to use the levers of government to end hate crimes against Sikh Americans.
When a member of your community is harmed, I take full responsibility of that.
In another recent attack, a Sikh man was killed after a fender bender. Still to come on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock, we know more about the gunman who opened fire and killed 18 people in Maine last week. Coming up, the frightening piece of equipment he wanted to buy for his rifle. And the man arrested for triggering a multi-vehicle crash in Queens that seriously injured a teenage girl is not new to the police. Authorities explain what he did that landed him in prison for years. Now to the aftermath of the deadly mass shootings in Maine that left 18 people dead and 13 others injured. ABC News has learned this past August the suspect attempted to purchase a silencer. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood with how that was prevented.
Friends and family gathering to remember those killed in last Wednesday's horrific mass shooting at a bowling alley and bar in Lewiston, Maine.
We think of those that lost their lives. We do not want to forget those that are in the hospital right now, still fighting for their lives.
Following a massive manhunt that lasted more than 48 hours, the suspected shooter, 40-year-old Robert Card, found dead Friday of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. 18 people killed, including Billy Brackett. His father says since the shooting, anger has consumed him.
Just a lot of anger. I've calmed down a little bit today because I know the guy is gone and he's no longer a threat to anybody.
Among the 13 others injured, Tom Gimberti, who was shot at the bowling alley.
Tom was able to get these kids out of the line of fire. And ended up getting shot himself.
ABC News has learned the suspect ordered a silencer back in August. It was shipped to the nearest gun dealer, Coastal Defense, but he had to fill out this 4473, a firearms transaction record form, which asked in part, have you ever been committed to a mental institution? To which he checked yes. That answer under Maine's yellow flag laws prevented him from getting the suppressor.
And said, I'm sorry, Mr. Card, we cannot give you this because of these reasons. And he was very cooperative. And he says, oh, that's a mistake, and I'm sure I can get it clarified.
During a briefing Saturday, officials emphasized mental health as a key focus of their investigation. This, in addition to Card's possession of firearms and whether his psychiatric history should have barred him from possessing any guns at all. On Saturday, an ATF official said the weapons recovered in the investigation appeared to have been purchased legally.
Morgan Norwood, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Tonight, we learned the driver charged with a traumatic DWI crash in Queens served time for a deadly hit and run. Michael Marino of Dutchess County was in prison for 6 years for the death of 27-year-old Gabriela Valinos in 2016 while she rode her bike in the Bronx. Yesterday, police say Marino hit several cars in Sunnyside and seriously hurt a 14-year-old girl. That scene was caught on Citizen app. First responders rushed several other people to hospitals as well. Still to come on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock. Showers linger into the start of the work week. So what can we expect for your Halloween forecast? Jeff Smith has the details when we come back. The National Association of Broadcasters New York show wrapped up at the Javits Center. And take a look. WABC's Vice President of Technology, Pat Stahl, led a panel discussion about the various career paths in broadcasting, from technology to creative. Pat and the panel also shared some tips for young journalists getting into the business. And we here at Eyewitness News are celebrating a big night last night at the New York Emmy Awards. Our peers in the industry honored us with the biggest of all the news awards, the Emmy for News Excellence. WABC-TV also won for Overall Excellence. We won in 15 separate categories, including one that's very important to us, all of us who here laboring each and every Saturday and Sunday. We got Best weekend newscast. So how about that?
You love to see it.
Yes, good stuff there. Let's get a check of the forecast. Not exactly the best weekend forecast, but
no,
we'll
you know,
take what we
our
can.
8th consecutive weekend
There's
of
a
wet
record.
weather. At least we started the weekend on
Yes,
a
we
nice
did.
note this time around. Of course, ending on a nasty note. We're looking outside right now across the Brooklyn Bridge over toward Lower Manhattan. We've had waves of rain moving across the area right now. 54 degrees in the city. Just kind of cloudy and drizzly at Central Park. 63 was our high today. A little misleading. That happened at midnight last night. Temperatures have basically been falling ever since. They'll rise a little bit actually overnight tonight after getting an early evening low in the lower 50s. So that's 63 today, officially 3 degrees above average, but it certainly didn't feel like it because during the daylight hours it was stuck in the 50s. So that definitely felt like a below average day after yesterday getting up to 80 degrees. So it was quite the shock to the system out there. Rainfall so far 0.43 inches, sun going down 5:56, rising at 7:23 a.m. these days. Let's go hour by hour and check out these probabilities of rainfall, measurable rainfall. So they go up again later on tonight. Like I was saying, kind of waves of rain, on and off rainfall, steady at times. Right around the morning commute could be a steadier batch moving on through, and then it goes down. These chances go down to about 24% by midday, but they might notch back up again by later on in the afternoon. So definitely have the umbrella handy during the next 24 or so hours. 55 at Newark at this hour, 51 your number at Teterboro. We're talking about 40s, Newburgh and Poughkeepsie and Sussex, 52 Islip, 57 down the shore at Belmar, where, by the way, you haven't gotten nearly as much rainfall, even some brighter patches down over parts of Ocean County during the course of the afternoon. But from the city, north and west, it has been rather damp out there, and that trend will continue overnight into tomorrow morning. You see by 7 o'clock in the morning. Actually, this is a pretty good slug of rainfall moving on through, again, from the city and points north. So do expect a pretty wet morning commute. And then during the course of the day, we'll have showers from time to time, a mainly cloudy day, highs only getting up into the upper 50s to around 60. And then some much chillier air arrives by tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. By Tuesday morning, we're down to 45 in the city, a lot of 30s north and west, and those numbers barely recovering, maybe up to about 50 or so by Tuesday afternoon. Now, for the trick-or-treaters on Tuesday evening, it doesn't look terrible. There is going to be an area of rain just offshore by later Tuesday night. This could skim areas like the Jersey Shore and Long Island into the wee hours of Wednesday morning. And then another system moving in from the west on Wednesday could cause a shower or two around. Definitely a lot of clouds on Wednesday and a very chilly day as well. Highs only stuck in the upper 40s by then. Overnight tonight, 51, and then rising late. Occasional rain and drizzle out there. It's mostly cloudy. A couple of showers tomorrow if we're lucky, maybe getting up to about 61. Cloudy in the evening and then becoming clear late. Quite chilly tomorrow night. That low dropping back down to about 42. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Again, Halloween looking brighter but chilly. 52. Again, dry for the trick-or-treaters, but very late Tuesday night into Wednesday. Maybe a couple more showers showing up. Only 49 on Wednesday. Could be our first freeze of the season north and west of the city Wednesday night. Bright but chilly on Thursday, 52, and then back up closer to normal as we head toward next weekend. We set those clocks back Sunday. Sunday's sunset is 4:47 p.m. Also, that happens to be the TCS New York City Marathon. Could be a shower around. Way too early to tell.
I know someone who's already counting that 1 hour, extra hour of sleep, right?
Oh, we're going to need it for those of us that work the night shift.
Absolutely.
Boy, what a great day for a football game today.
Today?
Yeah, the question we're all asking is, why couldn't the Jets of Giants have played yesterday? Instead, Mother Nature had the last laugh today at MetLife as the Battle of New York gave us a bad case of the Sunday scaries. Highlights and reaction from a soggy Meadowlands. Next in sports.
If you're one of the intrepid souls who made it out to MetLife today, more power to you.
Well, it was less than half full by the time the game ended, and even that was a surprise given the conditions. No Aaron Rodgers, no Daniel Jones. More on that in a moment, but still plenty of hype for the Battle of New York today. A thing of beauty, though, it was not. The Giants finished with -9 yards passing, and there were a combined 24 punts, the most in a game since 1988. MetLife was split between its two tenants and their fans, and right away, the home team, in quotes, makes a statement. Kayvon Thibodeau knocks it away from Zach Wilson. Giants recover one of 3 sacks today for Tibbs. He was great. It led to a Big Blue field goal. Not much offense after that. Until this, Wilson dumps it off to Breece Hall in the open field, and that's trouble for any defense. Hall turns on the Jets, takes it 50 yards to the house to give Gang Green a 7-3 lead. Now, there were also multiple injuries in this game, none more significant than this one. Tyrod Taylor gets taken down hard, stayed down for a while, left the game with a rib injury. More on that in a moment. So with Jones still out, enter Tommy DeVito, the undrafted rookie who grew up 20 minutes from MetLife, and wouldn't you know it, DeVito found the end zone, capping off a 75-yard drive with that scamper. Big Blue goes back on top 10-7, but then a stunning turn of events. After Graham Gano missed a field goal, Wilson led the Jets down the field in the final seconds for Greg Zuerlein's game-tying kick as time expires. They would go to overtime. Wow. And in the OT, it was Zuerlein again. Looks like he shanked it, but he just snuck the game winner inside the uprights for the walk-off winner. Wow. 13-10 the final on a wet and wild afternoon at MetLife.
Playing great defense, doing all that stuff, that's sustainable. Making mistakes, penalties, turnovers, not sustainable. So the good news is we can correct it on a W, but there's a lot of things we got to clean up.
Yeah, no, they did a good job. Give them credit. Not much else for you.
Giants fans share that same sentiment. Tyrod Taylor will remain in the hospital overnight for observation after suffering that rib injury. As for those other starting quarterbacks who remain out, good news on both players before kickoff. We start with Daniel Jones. NFL Network reports Jones could be back in 2 weeks against the Cowboys. That's the good news. The bad news is that the neck injury Jones is dealing with is a disc issue, which has reportedly caused significant weakness in his left arm. That's the same injury Jones had in 2021 that led to an early end to his season. As for Aaron Rodgers, he continues to defy logic and modern medicine. There he was back on the field today at MetLife, not just making throws, but dropping back as well. Keep in mind, this guy tore his Achilles tendon less than 2 months ago. Technically, he should still be in a walking boot right now. Rodgers out here making believers out of everyone. To the pitch, the Red Bulls playoff run continues with their first game in a best-of-3 tonight against FC Cincinnati, the team with the top record in MLS this season. We'll have highlights tonight at 11. And to the Ice Devils, trying to make it 4 wins in their last 5, back at the Rock to face the Wild. Tied at 2 in the second when Minnesota gives Jersey a gift. A turnover at the blue line leads to that slap shot by Eric Halla. That made it 3-2. Right now it's 4-2 Devils after 2 periods across the river.
Thank you, sir. That is the news for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here at 11 o'clock.
Get back to the prompt.
They're talking amongst themselves.
Got it.
Whenever you guys are ready, we're ready on the floor. We're ready on the floor whenever you guys are ready. Stand by. 5, 4.
I'm Joe Torres on Eyewitness News at 11. Fans across the country mourn the loss of actor Matthew Perry. A Long Island man in court accused of putting a gun to a 6-year-old's head. And the weekend showers continue, but should we expect more rain tomorrow?
A wet start to the week followed by coldest air of the season, and you're accurate with the forecast at 11.